How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Monday live stream. Welcome to another show where we answer your question about the wing, where we answer your question about anything that is sound related. Another day at the office today. Another day where I can spend some time with you. I'm gonna try not to overshoot myself light-wise in the camera. Sorry, I didn't have time to do a line check or a setup check as usual. I just threw on everything and ran with it because busy day. Today I was live with my friend Dennis in London, who in his church had a problem with his wing. We helped him build a virtual sound check for his setup, and also I help him repatch his stuff. So anybody who is in the need of specific help with his console, so if you need help to design a show, if you need help to design, I don't know what kind of L you can need. Oh, in between this and this, I'm either over or under blast. Let's put that into Kazi mod, shall we? There you go. We're gonna get there. A little better. At least I feel a little better about it. I feel better here. Now I can see the question on the chat really big. I got my screen right there. I'm working on a prompter project, so eventually I will read your question watching the camera. It's in the project. I just need time to do it. And I've been so busy in the last few days and in the last few weeks with my car accident, who slowed me down a little bit, with my other stuff that happened, and a big event that I did for a private client this week. I clocked in 56 hours in 3 days. A lot of work, a lot of long days, but now I rest yesterday's because it was only the loadout of that show, and I was done in the afternoon. So I went home, enjoyed a lovely alcoholized beverage in my backyard, and relaxed. This morning I had my stuff with Dennis, and now I'm up to do something really cool with you guys. But this show is never about me. This show is always about you guys in the chat, and you are the one that will tell us what's going on today. Can I say this? I don't know if I should say this or not. I'm usually the kind of guy that usually say this. Oh, hey Herman, how's it going? Do I have a problem with my screen? Is the chat not showing? No, the chat is showing. It's just a little bit late. I think I can say that I have some stuff coming for Stage Connect. It's on its way. I don't know how the detail is going to work yet, but I have definitely some stuff coming. I want to know your opinion, guys. What do you want to see about Stage Connect? My first thought was to ask for a 8-in, 8-out interface with the conversion box from Clark Technic for a review. I don't know if it's going to happen. Crossing my finger, but this is what I had requested to people who can provide me for a test DOS device. I think this is the most interesting setup that we can try, because we will have 8-in, 8-out. And the little converter box to convert from Ultranet to Stage Connect, if we can figure out something with that. I'm really heading this more towards the XR or the MR18 user. What can we do with these units? I know a lot of people want to have more. They want to get more out of their hardware that they already do. So is that the solution? Is those Stage Connect's box? Sorry, I cannot stand to see the mic right there. Is those Stage Connect's box the solution for you to expand your XR18? Can we find something that we never seen before, or an option that we never seen? Who knows what's going to happen with that? So we'll see. We'll see what the future reserve. So We'll see with that. Maya Sol, how do you pronounce your name? Well, really interesting. My first language is French. My name is Guillaume. You probably, if you're a Diablo 2 player, you probably saw an item called the G face by people, but it's pronounced Guillaume. Historically, it's been name of a couple, king in France and everything. And in translation, it was translated to William. So now, if it's something that you feel more like home for you, to think about my name as William, it's up to you. In Spanish, it's also been translated to Guillermo. So, Maya Sol, if you're Spanish, Guillermo is probably a name that you heard before. And for my friend, and people who work with me most of the time, call me by an abbreviation of my last name. My last name is Lorty, and people call me Lort. When I'm doing monitor and stuff like that, people call me Lort. So, Lort. Up to you guys if you want to call me Lort. Really up to you guys. So, while I'm doing this, while we say thank you very much to our friend Maya for helping me with my algorithm being help me to interact with the algorithm. We'll see what happened with that. So, we'll see what's gonna happen with the chat. With my friend Herman Guillaume, I bought my first own portable PA last week. Man, what did you buy? I know you are big with JBL. So, have you bought some JBL stuff? Or did you go the other route? Something that I suggest you before, like RCF or something else. Philips, I'm interested in an MR18 wing connection through Stage Connect converter. I don't think that will happen, honestly. They really tried to get the Stage Connect to be, but not the Stage Connect, the XR18 to be as close up of an environment as possible. I don't, well, maybe. This is why I want to see those little bucks. Maybe, Philips, we will be able to get in some way, Ultranet out of a MR18 to send as an input on the wing. Who knows? JBL Eon 712. What is the 712? I've never seen those before. I see the 512. This is what I have in the little Escal van. So we'll see if that is an evolution of that. But I never seen the 712. They're new. Okay, I guess you bought something new. Gary Richard, hi friend, hope you're having a great day. Busy. I've been really busy so far with 2 hours of private lesson this morning to our friend Dennis in London, who's probably going to watch this live stream afterward. Thank you very much for watching, Dennis, if you're here. If not, I'll see you around because I know you're watching all my videos. Speaking of, all of you guys who are here with us today live, please make sure to like this video. It's going to help spread it. We want to spread my video as much as possible. Even I myself gonna like my video. I can do that, so I encourage you to please like the video. And if you know somebody who is interested in watching these with us, we're having a good time. We're just trying to answer question. We have this screen also. If you have any question about the wing or stuff that you want to see on a console, we just dive into this as needed. Otherwise, we just talk about live sound or whatever your question is. That is, let's be honest, in context with the channel. Also, if you want to be a jerk like people who were in the chat before, please don't be afraid to. It's always a pleasure for me to get your message in, clock that in, and then just say goodbye to you. I really don't mind. Everybody who is here to troll me is just helping me with the channel, so trolls are welcome. There's space for more private studio. I would like to learn from you. Yes, Gary, there is. But I must say that I'm charging by the hour for these lessons. But yes, I do have more spot available. Two ways that you can do this. You can support me with the channel and get some free hour in. So if you want to become a member or a super member of the channel, members don't get lessons for free, but super member does. Once you subscribe as a super member for the channel, you get 1 hour of free free time with me per month. Every other hour after that is $24 for a private session. We're just doing 1 hour over Zoom or any other kind of media that you want to have in. If you want to go just like by the hour, you don't want to go into the old YouTube membership thing, you can just send me an email. My email is in the description below, and I will answer to you. You send me $25 over PayPal, and I'm yours for an hour. Please make sure that the payment are done before the stream starts. But I must say, if you are afraid, don't be afraid to ask around here on the channel. Many people that I've given listen to are really happy customers so far, and most of them are coming back. So just to give you an idea, I must be not that bad. If you don't want to pay and if you have question about stuff that you want to see on the wing, the Live Monday live stream are here for this. Just don't be afraid to ask for anything that you need, any question that you need, and we can definitely take a look at it together and have some other perspective from the community. People in the chat that have been here for a long time. Pindo, I think it's your first time. Welcome. Edwin, hey, how's it going? Yes, it's been a long time. Good to see you around. I also have some regular. I hope our friend Rolf is in the chat or will be there soon. Robert, who is currently getting sick, if you guys remember. Dream Hamster Dream Production, our friend Robert is not feeling so well now, so we wish him a quick recovery and best of luck with the future for his health. Please guys, stay healthy. After that, if you guys have any question in the chat, make sure to subscribe so you can write down to us, and make sure to Gary to leave me a message in my email. My email is in the description under the video. You will have my public email address there. From Phillips, what active subwoofer would you recommend for crowd size of 100 to 200 people? My question is, how does sound? Hey everybody, say hi to my longtime friend who actually just did finish the big private gig with me. We work a bunch of hours together. Say hi to Panda Lonely, my lovely moderator. Please make sure to ignore his question about sound. He's just a light engineer. He doesn't know much about what we do here, but he's a really nice guy, so we'll go along with him. Please be nice to him, but just ignore his stupid question. Okay. Subwoofer for 1,000 to 200, not 1,000, 100 to 200 people. What is your budget? Because to me, for a sub, it sounds like a small amount of people. A pair of single 18 or single 15 subs will get you going for a crowd, I would say up to 300, depending on the perceived volume that you want to reach, because it's always a matter of perceived volume. Sometimes, you know, those little house subwoofer are too loud for your house, depending on the overall volume that you want to have. But if you want to go rock and roll concert type of sound, you would need at least a pair of a couple 1,000-watt subwoofer. I try to stay away from the EV subwoofer. Okay, so 1,500 euros. I'm gonna guess you're good for a pair of QSCs sub or JBL. JBL, like our friend Herman is a big fan of. Yeah, I think that will be a good option. JBL or QSCs will be my two guesses. Take a look at the most powerful, most amount of power that you can get for that amount, but I think it's fairly in budget. You definitely can get a pair of brand new, or maybe be on the lookout for used sub. If they're not blown out, subwoofer are usually hard to destroy, or at least if you try a pair of used sub, as long as you know that they work, most of the powered stuff is protected enough that it will still be good and probably won't let you down. So definitely something that I would look for, QSC or JBL used powered sub. I will personally, I would go more towards stuff like QSC or RCF over to JBL. Sorry, Herman, I nothing against JBL, they work fine, but I just think the physical size of the speaker that you get versus the price versus the performance in the series before, maybe the new one, the one that I've tried, they were letting me down just a little bit. Even if I'm a fan of the big stuff from JBL, the little more pro-consumer DJ market is letting me down a little bit. They're not bad. I definitely saw way worse than that, but they're just not. Some competitors have deliver more for the same budget and size. You will just unsubscribe. Thank you very much for unsubscribing, Herman. It's been a pleasure to have you. No, seriously, I like them, but just in the market, I think JBL needs to maybe try to up their game a little bit. They're not bad, but I think they can push it. They have the technology. I know they can make great PA. It's just nowadays when you look at what other people are proposing for the same amount of money and size, I'm just debating if it's still an option. What else? Any more update about the new DN series, the DN44? I'm gonna guess you say the DN4888 and others. I have probably some stuff coming with Stage Connect, so I'm in line, or I'm waiting in line to get some stuff from Music Tribe. I don't know if it's gonna work out, but I've been contacted and crossing our finger. Guys, be vocal about it. If you want Music Tribe to send me stuff, and you want Music Tribe, or you want me to review some stuff for Music Tribe, send them an email, because I'm all open. I'm definitely want to do it. Let them know. The more pressure you guys send out, I don't want to say pressure, the more vocals you guys are about it, the more chance we have for this to happen. Who knows? Yesterday I tried the Eon 712S with 150 people. Was good, but I was missing a sub or two. Okay, so definitely JBL sub in your case, because I think they will be they will be made to match with your system. I try as much as possible to never mix type of brand, especially JBL. Back in the day, and I'm talking about before, in the 80s or in the 90s, JBL had some speaker, sorry guys, that was running phase reverse with the others. For some reason, the engineer at JBL decided to have their 12-inch woofer plugged backward, because I believe they thought that the sound was better to pull before pushing. And maybe, Herman, you have an hint on that, but back in the day when you were mixing speakers and monitor like JBL with others, you were getting a lot of phase problem. So If I were you, I would stick around, JBL product together, other brand product together, and they are designed and tuned to work with one another. So if you want to go QSC, go QSC and stick, keep with your brand. This is a really good option most of the time. In most cases, it will work and it will be a better match. Yorkville subs are good too. Yorkville is not bad, but it's budget. I was never impressed by Yorkville. I believe they head more towards the louder is better versus sound quality and definition. And, Yorkville stuff gets loud, gets the job done. But I had pleasure and I was lucky to work with really high-end system. 2 days ago, I was welcoming some PA Tech who installed a L-acoustic. It was how was it called? The Arc Narrow, the new series Arc from L-Acoustics. Really good, really expensive speaker, and once you get a taste of that, I mean, yeah, no. like the Behringer stuff, it's gonna get the job done, but as soon as you taste, the L-Acoustic IQ monitor versus anything else, almost, everything just turned to garbage. Well, not the garbage, but to less desirable as a piece of gear. Of course, budget is something that you have to keep in mind. What I'm talking right now is thousands and thousands of dollars of PAs and monitor. Just the amplifier for the L-Acoustic monitor is a couple $1,000s. So let's be realistic here. It's not made for everybody. It's more headed toward rental company and high-end sound system. What I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, Yorkville's going to get the job done. And you can EQ the Yorkville out of the box if you ever need to. Have you seen the new SRX 900 series? No, I didn't. Affordable line array. Is that like a entry-level VRX? Herman, is this something that can, be used for the same kind of application as the VRX 9? Is it the 900? The VRX 900? The S. I know the S series from JBL is more budget. So I'll wait for you to get back on this. Frederico, have you ever tried the combinator on bass guitar and or the main bus? Yes, on main bus. Do I have one? I think I may have one here. No, I didn't, but okay. I'm gonna try it just for fun. Instead of that tape, we're gonna change this for a combinator. I like the combinator, and I will pop it on just so we can have fun with it. I'm just gonna drop the threshold a little bit because can you see? I think I will need to get louder for it to work. Hold on. I'm just gonna do this. And I'm gonna give myself some more gain around here. So that way I can get more going out of the combinators. I'm just gonna lower the threshold as much as possible on all of them so I can make it work. Usually the way I use the combinator is to help me shaping the overall EQ of a signal I'm using it basically as a dynamic EQ. That way, I can change the overall volume of these bands. Let's say that we have too much low end on the mix. I can drop the low end. Like on my voice, I don't have that much low end, but I'm using it usually to shape sound, especially when I'm doing live streams of band. That way, it just helped me to keep my frequency curve more like a CD, more like a mastered and I'm really go with quote here, mastered sound. But the idea of the using the multi-band compressor is just to keep everything EQ wise that makes sense. That way I make sure I don't get too many mids, too much low end if I send out to a live stream, because let's be honest, most of the time if I'm doing a setup for a live show, I'm gonna have too much low end going on versus a live stream. So I'm using it as a safety net to just reshape a live stream into reshape a live show into a live stream. This is how I've used it before. Definitely can see some use on a bass guitar. Let's say that you set your frequency, which is, where do you set the frequency on? Is it the width? Yeah, you can definitely get rid of some low end, like the person over me is walking. You can see that really a big low end that was popping. You can use the combinators to low, to turn down the bass, to help you EQ out the bass in your subs. If you don't want to have too much low end from that instrument in the subs, you can select the frequency that you want to use. It doesn't matter if it doesn't display it, as long as you know which one it is. And yeah, I can definitely see a use for this on bass. We'll see what happens with that. Any other question from Pinto? If the new Stage Connect series made it out, do you think it will kill the M32 or the X32? No, I don't think so. Just let me get rid of this. It's adding the combinator is adding delay on the overall mix, so it's throwing me off in my headphone. So I'm just gonna take it out for now. I don't think the Stage Connect stuff will kill the M32 or the X32. Of course, they're gonna go away at some point. That's definitely gonna happen. I think it would just evolve the wing a little more. It's gonna help the wing to, for people who needs it, who need a lot of input, a lot of output, especially output. I think everybody is freaking out with Stage Connect for extra output. I think it's gonna push people that way. People that would upgrade from an X32 to a wing, I think it's gonna be just something else to push them toward that. But I don't think it's gonna kill the X32 or the M32 at all. I was in the bar the other day that has pretty much a brand new M32 Live. They didn't know about the wing, so they just went with the M32 because everyone knows it. And that console at that bar is going to be there for like 10 more years. If nothing happened to it, if nobody, dropped water or beer into it, it will stay there. I don't think it will force... I don't think having more gear available for a console will kill something else. It will just push people. Actually, let me rephrase that. It's gonna make more M32 and X32 available to people who cannot get one for now, because people will get rid of them, gonna buy wing, and they will end up on the used market because nobody's throwing them away. Let's be honest, everybody's selling it. I think they're gonna go into more hand, actually. So I think it's a good thing. Stage Connect is great for people like me who doing a lot of in-ear monitor. That's gonna be awesome for having extra output and input or line input for wireless in a rack. Actually, this is my plan with my DN4888. I want to put it into a rack where I have 4 in-ear monitors, so I'm going to use the 8 output, and I want to use it with the wireless mic in that rack too. That's going to be the future of Stage Connect, I think. We'll see what happens for real, but I think this is where they're heading. Um, Adban, you can't fit subs in your car, so I only use this PA for smarter gig. Yeah. Do you? Okay, maybe you can work something out. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Gilmayo is in the house. Please say hi to Patrick. Really helpful and really useful user for the community. Patrick is answering questions a lot on Facebook, and I think he deserve a hi from yourself. So please, guys, say hi to Patrick. And if you want to take a look at some cool software for the Wing, for the X32, Patrick has a website where he developed some software for the Wing and the X32 to have extra external control and do some really weird stuff, really like next level control with the Wing, with Reaper, with the X32. Go take a look at his website, x32ram.com, x32ram.com. Definitely worth your time there. Hedman, do you have a 15-inch option on the 7 series, the Eon 7 series? You have a 715? Because sometimes having a 15-inch woofer, not a 15 input, a 15-inch woofer will allow you to get away with no subs. Just throwing that out. If you can, maybe do a swap. Federico, usually use a combinator on singer's voice to keep balance when to keep it balanced even when higher dynamics come through and the voice tend to change a bit. Yes, definitely using it as a DS or dynamic EQ, definitely gonna work. Also, just so you know, there is now not here. There is, I'm gonna use that effect rack. There is a 3-band dynamic EQ now. So if it's not exactly what you're looking for, the combinator, you can definitely try this, the dynamic EQ with the 3-band. You can probably shape your sound. Right now, I just did a nice looking EQ curve just for fun, but you can definitely try the dynamic EQ if this is something that can suit your need. If you need something more precise than the combinator, give that a try and see if maybe it's a better solution for you or not. Francesco, hey, what's up, man? What I miss on the Wing is the input-output meter of individual effect, like on the X32. Yeah, you're not the first one to request that. I'm also, this is not something that I use, but I understand why people want to take a look at their meter bridge and having more information than just a pure gain. Maybe in the future software update, this is something that can be added. There is no way why it cannot be added to the console. So make sure to request that feature loud on Facebook. Maybe it will happen in the future. It's just a firmware update thing. So as long as it's firmware, pretty much is you can do pretty much whatever you want. Don't know if you remember me. I talked about the Yamaha LS9 some couple weeks ago. Definitely rings a bell. I think I remember saying that the LS9 was a really good monitor console. So yeah, I'm remembering you a little bit, Francesco. Well, now you definitely need to change the console. Last show was a very short power loss, and the end is completely reset itself. All the sound check and all this. Oh, everything went out. You wiped out the memory. Ooh, this is weird. All this 3 hours before the show. Did you have a backup? You have a backup on a USB. You know that there's a way to do it, right? That mixer is definitely gone. Some things change on their own during the show. Yeah, probably the fader bank need to be replaced. The LS9, those things are almost 20 years old. Yes, after 20 years for something that is cheap, even if back in the day those mixers were not cheap, it's usually gone. Or at least it wouldn't require probably a new power supply. Because the cap in the power supply pretty much needs to be replaced. Or most of them will, if not all. And the fader bank usually worn out. Those are driven by small rubber belt or that look like elastics belt. Usually they're gone. Usually the fader don't communicate well with the software. So yeah, get rid of it. Thanks it for its good life. And give it to somebody or sell it to somebody who wants to refurbish it, because it's not a bad console. I mean, in the bar, if I show up in a bar and somebody said, "Well, you got an LS9," or "You got an LS9," or in a high school, if you got an LS9, it's probably fine. I know a high school actually where the rental company that I work with. They sold all their M7CL and LS9 to school, because if you park those consoles somewhere, you let them be, you put their dust cover on. If you don't drive them, if you don't physically abuse them, they're gonna last with, maybe the need of a new power supply after a couple of years. But get the fader in shape, get a power supply in, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be better than having, those cheap analog console, definitely. What's going on after that? Really good suggestion here from Rolf, using a UPS to avoid power loss. Sometimes you can get some really old UPS for cheap. You can just replace the battery yourself. It's gonna cost you like, I don't know, anywhere between 20 and 50 bucks to get a UPS that will last you sometime even 5 minutes. But 5 minutes, if you have a power drop, 5 minutes is enough when you have a show to say, okay, stop that. The PA is probably gonna turn off on you anyway. But it will give you time to just go like, what's going on here? You can save, you can do a boot off, and that way you didn't lose your show. Your power is regulated, and you're safe. You're on a safer side. So definitely, if you live somewhere where power is an issue, so I know someplace in the States it's a problem. I'm lucky. I live in Quebec, Canada. We have some of the best power available in the world, or one of the most reliable electricity system in the world. So no problem with that here. It's a no-brainer, basically. I didn't had any power drop in my house for years. Never had a show down. Actually, one time in the last 10 years at a venue, a 3 fall on the electric line somewhere, and it was just a small portion of the city that had no power, but it was fixed in 20 minutes, and it's rock solid since then. So if we don't have any 3 falling on anything, that's pretty much it. Last question. What's the first thing you do if you are live mixing in a reverent room? Okay. I'm gonna repeat myself here. Are you guys ready? Okay. The first thing that I do is nothing. Hear me out. When I'm in a really live, when I say live, I mean really moving room where, the sound's bouncing everywhere, there's no kind of absorption. the first thing that I do is take out my in-ear monitor. I have a pair of Shure 846 that I trust, that I know sound good, and I know how they sound. I can definitely do a mix into them, mixing with headphone and starting a show like that. 75% of the time, this is what I do. If I know the room's going to be full when people are going to be at the show, if that room is packed, or actually the first thing that I do when I go into a reverberant room like that is asking how many tickets are sold. Is the place sold out? If yes, the place is sold out, and that big concrete floor in front of me is going to be filled with people that will absorb energy, that will absorb sound, I'm probably going to try to mix with headphone, get the band happy on stage. If I'm doing in-ears, I'm going to drive the PA lower than I would most of the time. So I'm going to take my master down a little bit and mix really quietly. I'm going to get my channel, every individual channel, to sound good into my headphone or my in-ear monitor, and I'm going to build my mix that way. I don't want to finalize the mix, the fader level. I want to get good gain, I want to get good EQs and compression on those channels, and having rock solid, good level, good sounding stuff when I'm pushing the fader. This is what I do the first thing. When people starts to come in, I go in the room and I listen. I play some background music, ambient music. I try to get something that I know. I'm using Back in Black from AC/DC a lot to tune PA, because if it's bright, if the PA is aggressive, I will know right away. So I'm gonna play that, and once every other song, I'm gonna put a little louder than the other in the PA. I'm gonna, raise it, put it loud so people starts to try to talk over it, and I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna walk around the venue and listen. I'm gonna try to average how the system is sounding in the room. Once I got that down, I will go to my main, and I will try to EQ the remaining frequencies that people are not absorbing. People are absorbing sound, or we are reflecting it because we're like an acoustic panel, in the sense of we will reflect sound, we will break the sound wave going into a room. If you do your thing right, you will get it really close to the best sounding room of the. Oh, hold on, we got a super chat here from Dawn of Dreams. Hey, what's up? Thank you very much. You just sent me $20, dude. Okay, I'm gonna finish that rant, and I'm gonna move on to your question, because I think you asked me some stuff. So okay, this is basically what I do. I wait for people to be in that room to EQ the PA. Make sure it doesn't feedback, of course, but wait for that. And once your band starts to play, the first song is where you finish your sound check. You got your stuff in, let the band start the song, push the vocal. Most of the time, in most music style, the vocal is what goes up front. Not all the time. In heavy metal band, as an example, it needs to be there, but it's not as important as guitar. Get all your stuff, get your mix quickly done. Start the show, raise your master, get some good level going. Get your vocal in, lower or boost your guitar. Lower your bass guitar in the big reverberant room will be good or bad. So sometimes you need to have less bass to just hear everything. Your drums, sometimes drums, if the room is really small or on the smaller size, drum is something that you definitely want to look for. So balance your drum. If your drums are too loud and your snare is too loud, just, figure your mix, roughly place your mix, and take a step back. You place your thing, you wait, and you go like, okay, what's going on here? Analyze, scan your mix. Do you hear your vocal? Yes, no, good. Place it, your stuff, and do a couple passes like that, and you will be pretty close to where you want to go. And start to play around with your EQ, because you don't want to change the EQ and the channel strip, because if you did your thing right with headphone, your overall EQ is done on the main, and after that you want to tweak a little bit your channel strip. But I tend to, once the sound check is done, I try to touch as less the gain and the EQ on the channel as possible. That way, if you are doing monitor with those channel strip, you don't affect the band playing, because if it's fine in their here, they're gonna perform the best they could. Main EQ is where stuff is happening. Tweak your main EQ until you're happy with your mix. That's the rant that I have to say about that. Okay, Donna Dream, you just send me $20, dude. I must answer your question. Hey brother, hope all is well. I wanted to ask you, have you ever had any issue with mute groups and DCA changing assignment at random? No, I haven't. I never heard of that. Are you sure it's not somebody else playing with your console? And are you sure you done your thing right? Because you have some you said some other stuff here. Because I have a band I work with on regular and channel 21, the violins keep unassigning itself from the mute group, and it keep assigning itself to a second DCA. I was wondering if firmware bug or maybe related to tag system. Can you send me your file? I'm gonna submit it for review if I can recreate the bug. I never seen that happen before. Send me your file into a email, please. I want to take a look at that. And I also want to know, do you have the console connected to a computer or a network? We're just talking here, just trying to get some stuff out of the way. Do you have something else that send OSC command on your console? Please send me that into an email, because the only reason that I can see, and if Patrick is still around, maybe he can help us with that, because he's really know his stuff when it comes to OSC. Maybe something else is sending an OSC command that made that change happening on your console, or it's a bug on the firmware, and for some reason, you just got it. But I don't see any reason why it would do that at all. Just your iPad? Spoke to someone and said it could be related to tag. I will need to investigate that. But if you can send me your stuff, I will take a look at that. Sorry, I don't see the chat is not going as fast as it does on my screen as it does on YouTube, and I can see that Patrick said it could be OSC, but also native mixing station using native. Definitely having your snap file will help to reproduce. We will try to reproduce that for sure. But yeah, if you have your iPad, what's the iPad app that you're using? Also want to know that. What's the iPad app that you're using? Is it the, I was about to say Wing Commander. It's Copilot. It's not Wing Commander. I don't know what, no, Command Wing. Command wing is it's something else. Copilot. Maybe it's Copilot. Maybe it's Don't worry, guys. Wing Commander is mine. Okay. Sorry. Désolé, Patrick. Okay, I missed some question here, but definitely send us your file and send me your file, and I will investigate that for sure. What else after that I need to take a look at after our super chat? Just gonna go up again with the iPad. Guillaume, if we have time today, I would like to learn more about your go-to reverb settings for a live rock band. Definitely can do that, Hedman. What do you want to know? For vocal? Because I'm going to guess drum. I know you're mixing in a really big church with a lot of reverb, so I'm going to guess your drum, you don't really want to have more reverb on them. But my go-to reverb is not this one. The blue plate. The basic setting to me work really good. Right now it's inserted on the snare, but don't mind that. I'm just showing you the effect. And I'm just using a little bit of reverb on my vocal. You use reverb for a live stream. Okay. What I do usually is I'm taking my vocal, sending them into a reverb. I also send my vocal into a delay. Do I have I don't know if I have the right setup of effect here. Okay, I have a delay. I'm taking my delay, and the effect return of that delay is also sent into a reverb. I'm gonna try to show it to you how I'm doing it. I think I have a plate reverb here on my vocal. Do I have a plate reverb here? Can I hear what's going on here? Hey. That's not really loud. I'm gonna get my microphone a little bit closer here. There we go. More FM like. I want to make sure what's going on bus 15. Do I have a reverb on there? No, I don't. This is why it sounds like this. I'm just going to use this. Oh, there we go. I'm going to put the effects to 100%. And I have this going. It doesn't sound that good by itself when it's really loud like that. But if you apply this to a vocal in a live band, I can guarantee you that you're going to get good result. Usually what I try to do is use something in that range, because I want to get my dry vocal going through the PA. And what I also do is having a delay, just as a little slap back like this. And now we're going to take a look. This is my channel 40. This is my talkback. This is what I would put on a regular singer vocal. Don't mind the numbers here. Just send enough so it sounds good. Now, we'll take a look at the reverb itself. No EQ, no nothing. Is just a reverb inserted on a bus. You insert that and you send into that bus from the channel, and you make sure that your bus is going out to your main out. Right now, we all listen to my main one. That's it. So this is what we do. I'm going to turn off the music so you guys can just hear me. So, channel into bus, effect inserted on a bus at 100%. And the magic happens when you take your delay. When you do the same thing for your delay, you make sure your delay go out to your main. Here, I just want to make sure that I don't have anything else. And, oh no, I cannot do this. Okay, let's do it again. With, this time, not the matrices in the way. I'm gonna need to do this on my first bus. Hey, bus 1, no EQ, please. Off. Okay. No compression, off. I want my reverb on bus 1. We're gonna do the same thing that we did before. We're gonna send, not you, here. We're gonna send some reverb. There we go. Hey. Here we go. Vocal into the bus. I can change my tap point to be tap point number 6. It's gonna get louder because it's post compressor. So I'm gonna turn it down like this. I have my vocal, I have my stuff going here. Processing into the reverb. Now on bus 2, I'm gonna have a delay insert here, and I want that to be tap point 2. Hey, I said tap point. There we go. We're gonna go on bus 2. We're gonna insert in the second insert my delay, and I'm gonna raise my bus. I want to make sure that these 2 are going into the main out. And I'm going to make sure my delay is on. I have some delay. There you go. Now, maybe that's a little too much. I'm going to turn it down. There we go. It's just a nice slap. Of course, I'm going to tap the delay for the song, because you always want your delay to be in rhythm with the song. So, now I don't have a tap delay on my custom control, but usually I have a tap delay on my custom control. I'm going to put the effect back on. And now, the delay, the reverb is there. It sounds natural. It sounds like I'm speaking in the room. It's fine. The delay are dry. I'm going to turn them down. If I'm speaking in the delay, you just hear the dry. It's not wet. It just repeats, but it doesn't have any reverb on it. If I'm turning up the reverb and the delay, the delays do not go into the reverb. It sounds wet and suddenly dry. The trick is to take your delay. Now I'm on bus 2, which is my delay, and I'm going to turn on the amount of send into the reverb. You definitely never want to do, and I can't believe I'm going to do this, it's going to feedback, okay? Just so you guys know, you definitely don't want to take bus 2 and sending it into bus 2. It will result in a massive feedback. You don't want to do that. What subdivision do you use on the delay? We'll take a look at that. Right now it's set to 1 and pattern of 1 to 1. Usually I try to offset that to make it stereo. But now, okay, I just want to turn that send into this, and I'm going to tap that for song. For every song you want to be in time. Sometimes when I want to have a long delay, I just go with the snare. So on the 1, on 3 of the song. Sometimes I want to go double the speed. So my subdivision are done more with the tap tempo. I'm gonna change the let's say we'll give out numbers that count easily. If the song is at 100 BPM, I'm gonna tap sometimes 100, sometimes 50, and I'm gonna go like 1, 2, 3, and other time I'm just gonna double up to 200. You know, I'm just gonna double up the song. Let's say that the song is something like this. I'm gonna, just because I want to have it short. So it doesn't really matter what the subdivision is as long as you tap it the way that you want it to. So I'm using 1-to-1 ratio, and I just hammer it down, or let one snare hit goes, let the sound go with, and have that longer. This is my approach. But where I wanted to go with this is now I'm having some stereo delay that goes from left to right. I hope my stream is in stereo, because I never checked that. Can you guys tell me if it's stereo or not in the chat, please? And if I'm blending it with the reverb, it just becomes that old massive thing. And I could probably be more generous with the reverb and everything. But a singer going into this sounds like a huge place. It sounds way bigger than it really is. So, let's go back into I don't see the mic mode. That's my approach to reverb. That's my approach to what I do with reverb for Rock Band. This is my recipe. Is it working like this all the time? No. This is my starting point, and I adjust depending on the situation. Okay, what's going on in the chat? What did I left behind? The effects meter is available from the console. I guess it's a matter of Behringer getting in time to create the meter page. So apparently it's just a matter of firmware update for that, Federico. What else? The LS9, I know the memory is old, but it should not erase itself like this. That's really weird. Yes, it's really weird. It should not erase itself like this. We're all agreed. This is not the way the memory usually works. So, Patrick says it's really hard to see if the stream is in stereo. If you didn't hear that in stereo, I'm gonna guess the stream is in mono, and I would need to fix that. Hold on. Ivan, I'm resting from a 3-day festival with 40 wing input, 6 matrices, 10 monitor, 200 performer through 3 days. Ugh. Yeah, I feel your pain, man. I just clocked in, you were probably not there at the beginning of the stream. I just clocked in 56 hour on 3 days for a private event. And the festival season is not even started yet. That's gonna start soon. And I'm already tired too. So I feel you, man. This is gonna be... I had a conversation with some really high-placed people in the industry, and it's going to take a couple years before we can all rest and get a decent job ourselves again. I don't know. For those of you who are not in the live show industry, at the moment, this is a total shit show. A lot of shows that were reported and then reported and finally happening. Too many things are happening at the same time, and half of the working people from the industry left 2 years ago. I've never been that busy myself, and the days just keep on piling up. It's crazy. It's crazy how many shows I have this summer. I'm probably going to do something like 60 to 80 events like till October. It's probably doesn't mean a lot to you guys, but I just landed a gig with a decently big artist here in Quebec as a monitor engineer, just because I said I was available. The guy gave me the job before he hear me doing a sound check. He was like, "Oh, you're working at this place here? Okay, so I'm gonna guess you're pretty good. If you're available, we'll take you on tour." And I just landed 15 to 20 more gigs. And actually, I have to double check my schedule, but they gave me gig till like May 2023. So a year in advance. They gave me like 25 to 30 gigs with decently, Ed Lighter's gig for a festival here. So I'm going to be busy. I don't know how, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the way that things are going now, I don't know how I'm gonna make it, and I don't know how I'm gonna make YouTube going. I'm trying. I'm trying my best. Actually, I think I will have to say no to some paid gig because I just can't, and I want YouTube to go on. I want to be with you guys, and I want to do some gear demo. I want to push that way because I think it's the future more than gigs for me. So who knows what's gonna happen with that. Ivan, I'm with you, man. We're gonna get there soon. Things are gonna be better soon, but please take care of yourself. Don't give up. It's gonna be a hard couple of next year. Okay, sorry, I'm just keeping up. The LS9, the LS9, the LS9. Okay, we're back at it. I can watch the screen now. Okay. What's going on? Francesco, do you usually send only specific instrument, kick and bass to sub, or do you send everything and just cut them with processor or similar? Okay. What I do, most of the time, I like to have just a stereo send to the PA. If the PA tech or the system tech did its job right, if I'm sending out just a regular left-right in the system, it should sound the way it should. The way I work my thing on the console, the sound. What I do is, depending on the instrument, like here we're going to have the bass drum, sometimes I boost. Sorry, there we go. Sometimes I boost in the low end on some instrument if I feel that they need to. On other, I just cut the low end that I don't need. And that low cut that is available on every single input, by the way, you just, in the filter section, enable low cut. And here, and you have, you can see it on the EQ section, and you can control it from there too. Even if the EQ is off, the low cut is still there. And that will depend by the instrument. Like on a snare, usually I set it somewhere around 200 because most of the time snare don't have a lot of stuff going under 200. So I just think it's making it cleaner to just get rid of the low end on that. On a hi-hat, probably never sound check that. So yeah, look at on the tom it's 134. On the floor tom it's at 60. Overhead is higher than that. Bass guitar is set at 20. Most of the time I set it between 20 and 60, or sometimes I go up to 80 depending on the amount of sub and what the player is sending me. So just really depends on the source and the level of the system on the other side. But no, usually I don't. I mix everything stereo and I just low cut the stuff that I don't want to go in the subs, or sometimes even higher than the subs, because most subwoofer are cutting around 190, between 90 and 120. So depending on the input, like on vocal, maybe not on this microphone. Oh, I don't have my EQ on this for some reason. There you go. Well, let's do an EQ for my vocal. Usually what I do is putting a low cut around 100. I can definitely make it. You know, I'm gonna bring the mic closer in. I don't need that much information under 160, 200. Like, is how? Okay, now that's too. 800 is too much, but I can definitely go to 200 with the low cut, and it still sound like my voice. Of course, I have less low end, but definitely not needed. So depending on the source, you just low cut your stuff to what you need. And I have something here that is coming from my room, and I can probably give it some high end. There you go. So I would never do this if you have live monitor on stage, but if you are doing in-ear or live stream, feel free to boost whatever high-end frequencies that you need so you have definition on your vocals, or other instrument. But with monitor, this is like a guaranteed feedback approach. If you just want to, give it everything's really crisp high definition, try not to go that way if you are dealing with live monitors. Just want to point that out. I'm gonna try to go really quick. It's happening with both, so okay, we'll take a look at that. Hard to save the live stream in stereo. Okay, we're gonna take a listen at that, guys, together. We're gonna take our pan that I don't use enough on the wing, because most of the time I just leave everything stereo. And just for fun, I'm gonna change it the other way around. We're gonna go only in your right ears. So let me know if the stream that I sent out is stereo or is it mono. Maybe it's mono. Maybe you don't hear that that much, or maybe YouTube is moving it to mono. My microphone is mono. Yeah, mono right channel only. Okay. I'm mono. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Oh, maybe. Hold on. Maybe it's in the routing. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's not YouTube. It's my fault. Definitely my fault. How is it now? We're gonna take a look again at this. Let's work some stuff together. That's left. That's right. That's right. That's left. Guys, let me know if that is stereo. Aha! My fault. Totally my fault. I remember a couple of live stream ago that I had a patch error, and then when I loaded and reloaded my file, didn't sound good. Okay, I'm gonna save that. I don't want to press load. I want to press save. That is safe. Now, just for fun, this is how the effect should have sound before. Should definitely be a stereo feed with the delay being left and right. And do we have a tap option? We don't have a tap option. If I remember correctly, the plugin that really looked like this from the guys from Wave, I think, had a tap tempo. But I can probably quickly do a tap tempo on a console. If I know what I'm doing and I go here and I go insert 2. Oh, that's going to be insert on. I need to go into the effects parameters. Effects parameters. Stereo delay time. And I can have a tap delay. Yeah! Sounds big. And now it's short. Because what I'm doing, you guys probably cannot see this, but I'm going to go here on my rack. And I'm doing the tap. Can you see the time here changing? So I do a 1-to-1 and I just tap it really quick depending on the song. This is what I wanted to tell you before. I can go, it says in milliseconds here, but sometimes, it could be something as 1,000. That's like a second. When you want to have something that repeat a lot. This is what I wanted to show you before. The plate reverb that is already stereo. When you add in the delay with something that is more in time with what I do, it just gives some space. That's what I wanted to show. Now, let's see what's missing in the chat. I answered the subdivision. Yes. Francesco. I can put back the music. Francesco, what mic do you use for drums? I'm a huge Bayer Dynamic fan. I worked out a deal for a friend that I'm working with, a musician. Back in the day, I realized that Bayer didn't had anybody in sponsorship. My friend just had a really blasting time at The Voice. So I asked him, do you think it's okay if I reach in your name to Bayer Dynamic to get a deal? I believe that their mic were good. I never really tried them, but I worked something out with them, and they sent us a bunch of drum microphone and vocal microphone to try. Honestly, I tried many things. For bass drum, I'm using the plate that goes inside the bass drum called the Bayer Dynamic D71C. One of my favorite bass drum mic ever. Not the only one, but definitely one of my favorite. For snare and toms, I'm using the D57 and D58. That has nothing to do with the Shure SM57 and 58. Those are condenser, clip-on condenser microphone that just sound awesome. Google that. For overhead, I'm using the MC 930 or 950s, depending on the pattern that you want to have. If it was an option, I would use my lovely Bayer Dynamic MC840 as overhead most of the time, but this is not the kind of microphone that you want to carry around on the road and leave it in the truck overnight. So I'm not using it for that purpose, but a stereo pair of these would work awesome. But we're talking about big bucks microphone here. For vocal, while we're at it, I'm a big fan of the Bayer V56. It's a condenser mic, works really good on most vocal. Not everybody. Vocal microphone, I believe, are really a per person thing. You just find the match that fit your voice and you just stick with it. But definitely something that I'm a big fan of is Bayer Dynamic, especially for drum. They lend me gigs. Those microphones sound so good with almost no EQ out of the box. And I have impressed drummers and musicians with them. Just those mic just being on a kit sounding really good out of the box. That they were like, they thought I was a better engineer than I probably was back then, 10 years ago. So definitely Bayer Dynamic for drum if you want to look at something. Other option from another company will be Audix D6 for bass drum, SM57 on snare, something that I like. The E609, 604, E604 also work great on snare for me. Not so much on tom. I have better option, but 604 on snare top, snare bottom is a really good option that I like from Sennheiser. Other than that, it's just Bayer Dynamic for me. Of course, if you get a pair of C414 for your overheads, that will be an option, but most of the time this is simply not something that can cut it budget-wise. So, there you go. That's my opinion on drum microphone. I just try to keep up with the chat. Advice from Patrick here. Be aware for tap tempo that the tap will not work under a certain time difference. If you tap really fast, it's not taking into account, or it's just blinking, not showing for taps. Patrick, the tap tempo that I had problem with is when you have too long in between two taps, but too fast. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to. It's just not blinking. Oh, you guys can see it here. It's just not blinking, but it doesn't go like... I'm gonna try it. Yeah, under... I don't know if it's a bug, but under... Okay, I just discovered something. If your tap tempo is under 150 millisecond, it doesn't blink. Can you guys see that light? Probably not. I'm gonna try to put some shadow on it. That's 151. That's 150 millisecond. As soon as I'm moving, 150. Oh, 150 is taking it. Under 149, it doesn't. So the tap tempo light doesn't work. Doesn't flash faster than 150 milliseconds. I don't know what's the number in BPM, but there you go. 605 for snare. 905. What is the 905? Sennheiser 905? I know the 904. But what is the 905? E905. What is that? Apparently not a Sennheiser mic from Okay. This. Can you guys see this? This is what we're talking about here, the Sennheiser 905. I saw those before, but I never really tried it. So, really interesting. I'm gonna try Ivan the 905 for snare. I'm personally a owner of a TG9 M201, a TG M201 from Bayer. They sound awesome, really, really good. I'm debating every time between the condenser and the 201, but definitely two really good options from Bayer here. The 609 is a dynamic, I guess. Never tried that before. Never. I saw them, but this is the kind of thing that, you know, I had the option to use the 604 and not the 904, the 604. And I was more happy with the 604. Probably under 150 millisecond, it won't blink, but we could hear the delay. So it's a Behringer implementation decision. Probably okay then. Definitely a software limitation here, or a software decision. It's discontinued, but I've seen them before. And I know a guy at Sennheiser who can probably hook me up with one if they ever have some. Special hint from Hans Zimmer Productions, SE Electronic. I tried a SE Electronic the other day with a band called... Is it The Palace? I don't know. A band from UK. I was a local monitor engineer for them, and the singer had that. I think it's a band from the UK, The Palace. Never heard of these guys before, but they full out the place that I worked at, a Club Soda. They full out a 900 people venue in Montreal, and the lead singer had that. It was a problem for front of house. Because it was getting too much IM, and that place is really a narrow, long venue, so the PA starts really here, and if your vocal are basically too bright in the PA, you're gonna feedback because the PA is like almost reaching the stage, so it's really close to feedback because of that. But yeah, I liked it. I cannot say that I didn't like the SE electronic vocal. I have no idea what the name of the mic is, but it was definitely fine for me. Yeah, Ivan, I agree with you. D6, 604, 605 for snare. Octavas. It's been a long time since I've heard of Octavas. Beta 57 for hi-hat. Yes, sir. Many people would freak out, but 57 and Beta 57 were great on hi-hat. Especially the Beta because it's rejecting a lot of snare. Those microphone, the Beta series from Shure is a narrower pattern. It's a super cardioid, so it's gonna have less for that. Also, the other day I was having a conversation with some engineer, and we were talking about the Beta 56. If you have a drummer that wants to sing, try out a Beta 56 from Shure on his vocal. This is the kind of mic where if you speak into it here, you're gonna get it. If you're there, you're not gonna get any sound out of it. It's picking up really a small pattern, and around the drum, this is a lifesaver. Let me read. SM81 on hats. Beta 98 on tom. Definitely another second best for me versus the Bayer Dynamic. 902 on kickout. Yeah, 902 on kickout. Oh, you guys will probably hate me for saying this, but the Sennheiser 602. I have some friends in the studio that only swear by the 602 in a bass drum, and I cannot hate that microphone more than I do. This is the worst bass drum microphone I ever heard, if you ask me. I will take a D112 from AKG, a 421, even a 57 before the 602 from Sennheiser. I cannot stand that microphone. Yeah, the 414's on overhead, of course. SM91 versus the Beta 91. Anytime you choose one over the other. I would say the Beta 91A will be my option now because the Beta 91 is now discontinued. It's not produced anymore. The SM91, I don't think it can handle as much SPL one versus another. So I would say if you have a really heavy hitter like on a metal band, I would try to avoid the SM91. But sound-wise, it's been too long, and the mic that I tried were too beat up for me to take a decision on these, honestly. Nowadays, I would just take my Bayer plate because I believe it sounds better. But 91A is an option. The Bayer Dynamic versus the Beta 91A. The difference is that the D71C has low end versus the Beta 91 from Shure, but both are a good option at that point. It's just a matter of result. I just like the result of my Bayer Dynamic a little more. Telefunken M81 in the kick. I never tried it, but this is something that I can definitely try. At one place, I know a guy who likes. He brings and has M81, and we want to do some A/B testing because he doesn't know Bayer that much, and I didn't know Telefunken that much, so we're gonna try them probably on June 5. June 5, I will be at that venue. Probably gonna try that. The M81 in a kick. I'll let you know. I heard the calibration mic from Bayer, the the ECM 8000 make good overheads. They make decent overhead. They are omni microphone. So if you have a lot of stuff on the stage, maybe not the best option. If you are in the studio and you want to have room mic, this is the best and most affordable room mic ever. The thing is with calibration mic, you cannot get them into stereo pair, or I don't think you can get them into match stereo pair. And I would prefer to have a match stereo pair for overhead if it's an option. But if I want to have something omni for, drum room or overhead, that will work. Definitely a cheap option. The Behringer C2, the kit that they sell for like $70 or $100 for a pair of a stereo condenser. I've done a lot of show with those, and they were fine. And if something happened to those mic, you don't cry. But definitely good mic for the price from Behringer on those small condenser. Not my first option. In the studio, they will probably not cut it, but for live, with the amount of cymbals that I get in the in the singer's microphone on smaller venue or stuff like that, they will definitely do the job. And for the not much that I will use them anyway, they will do the job. You felt that way about the D6? D6, oh, it's one of my favorite bass drum mic. You don't like it on kicks? That's all the low end and scoop that you want. I don't get it. But okay, had a surprisingly good result with SM57 as overhead on loud stage when nothing else is available. 57 are good for everything. They can do everything. My personal opinion, but if I were in a situation where I only had one mic available, 57, I can get away with it. You can get away with everything. Bass drum, bass guitar, it will work. I like the Sheps too. Yeah, the Sheps copy. Who's doing a Sheps copy? The D6 is too scoop for you. Okay, you're probably placing it wrong. If it's an option, give this a try. Take your D6 and don't put it inside the beaters, the bass drum hole pointing at the beaters. Take it about 2 inches, 4 or 5 centimeters away from the skin, and then pointing at the beaters. And if it's too bright, point it away from the beaters. Definitely one of my favorite bass drum tone. It's not working for everything, but if you're a metal guy, it won't be too scoop if you're doing it that way, and you will get a boatload of low end. How do you place 57 for overheads? My 2 option would be an XY pattern when you place the 2 mic, or the 2 mic capsule 45 degree away from each other. After that, space pair, and you just crank the living hell out of them. Also, something that is really good as a dynamic for overhead is the old Sennheiser 441. Those big, squared, shiny microphone. They work really, really good with the high boost on them. They have like a high boost switch, like on the 421 that I have here. Hold on. On the 421, you have in the bottom, this is a low cut switch on it that just, goes from M. The M name on it is for music. The S is for speech. This is a variable low cut on the bottom of the mic. By the way, if anybody has a clip available so I can use that microphone, that will be really appreciated. But 421 from 421 from Sennheiser, really good. I would not use this as overhead. I tried it before, no good result. 441, which I don't have. I wish one day I could put my hands on a pair of decently well-preserved microphone that would work as overhead. But yeah, dynamics work as overhead. We use the D6 at church for kick drum. Really appreciate it. Yeah, to me it's the new modern sound. Because let's, modern describe modern sound nowadays. Back in the 2000 or in that area, the new sound was the more low end, more definition sound that we got from CDs. So people were like old school versus new school. But nowadays, modern sounding cannot be scooped more or have more low end or more definition. It's really hard to describe that, but it's the new modern sound, the D6, I believe. Who knows? Tastes are changing with the years. I remember a couple years ago, everybody was happy with the B52 from Shure for bass drum, and I did try it for a while. It was so predictable that I could get away with it on everything because the mic, it's almost like a trigger, you know what you're gonna get. After that, I mean, the 451 for overheads, yes, I tried that many times. I was happy, but that's it. It works. I was not blown away by the 451. But if you offer me that on a gig, I will take them. Absolutely no problem. Okay. Well, guys, it's 3 o'clock. As much as I love having those conversations, and trust me when I say I could debate about microphone and geek out on this for hours. I have some video editing to do, not for a YouTube video. I'm working video for a client, and I'm a little behind on my schedule. I'm just so overloaded with work right now. You guys have no idea. And I try to, to keep a healthy, kind of healthy life with that. I try at least to sleep. So if I want to sleep tonight and I don't want to wake up, because I'm waking up really early tomorrow for an event. Thanks for the stream in the chat, Alex. Thank you very much or Alec, I should say. Thank you very much for trying me stuff like that. I like your idea. Actually, send. It's not you. It's Dawn of a Dream. Thanks, guys. But send me what is a copy of a Sheps. I want to know what copy of a Sheps is. And Patrick, we need to talk. I still didn't forget about a live stream that I want to do with you. We should definitely organize that really soon. Let me know on Facebook when we can do a little televised chat over Facebook together. It will be really fun. Guys, Line Audio CM3. Okay, if you got a link, put that in your email. Thank you very much for being with us. I don't want to say with me because we spend some time together as a community here. Please, until the next one, take care of yourself. If you are not yet a subscriber of the channel, subscribe. If you want to support me in what I do and geek out with us freak here, us sound freak, think about becoming a member of the channel or a super member. Super member have access to 1 hour of free one-on-one lesson or video conference, call it however you want, every month. Until the next one, for real this time, please take care of yourself, and I will see you guys next week